a little bit of an echo. Okay, because it feels very annoying. Okay. Okay. Please, how can you hear me? Is that echo bothering you? Okay. Well, good evening and welcome everyone. My name is Paula Martinez and I am the chair for Community Board 1. Thank you so much for those of you that are joining us for the first time. For our members, thank you so much for braving through the cold weather. And I know there was a lot of traffic to get here. Thank you so much. We do have quorum and we do have voting items this evening. So I am very excited that we're going to be able to fulfill our agenda for the evening. We might be joined later by the Bronx Borough President, Vanessa Gibson. And tonight we have community leaders, we have our colleagues from the 40th Precinct joining us this evening. We also have special guests, and I have a special assistant. Her name is Jose. I want to introduce her. Can you please make a call to order so that we can officially start the meeting?
The meeting has begun.
Thank you so much. So now let's do our introductions and roll call for this evening.
Paola Martinez, Clarissa Lagueto, Evelyn Alvarez, Deborah Viles, Gande Ambrose, Daniel Barber, Robert Barnes, Jadine Buxton, Cecil Brooks Jr., Stephanie Calzado, Carolyn Chamorro, Reyes Claudio, Christina Cover, Audrey De Jesus, Jacqueline De Jesus, Naisha Daabi, Edwin Diaz, Josephine Fernandez Byrne, Brenda Goodwin, Christine Lacara, Andres Madrigal, Delorina Moore, Argelia Ortiz, Emmanuel Parvilla, Marilyn Pena, Freddie Perez Jr., Amanda Perez, Rosa Pinero, Joyce Popes, Mohammed Sheikh, Patricia Simpson, and Cesar Young. Chair, we have one.
Thank you so much. If I may, I would like to start our meeting asking for a minute of silence. We lost a tremendous community leader. As you may know, our dear Linda Du passed away recently. This evening, we are joined by members of her family, for whom I would like to ask to please stand up. Linda Du's granddaughter is with us, and I would like for us to say a prayer and also ask for a minute of silence. Miss Linda Du touched many lives. Although I was only able to meet her for a brief period of time, I can see and I can attest to how great her experience and her service was for this community, and in particular for our community board. There's so many of our elected officials who wouldn't be able to serve today if it wasn't for her leadership and for her guidance. And we have tremendous work ahead of us. to fill her shoes. And we can not only, I think that the best thing that we can do to honor her time with us is to continue to strengthen our community board, continue to be an example for folks in our community, continue to pray, and also be grateful for her family who's joining us here today. We wanted to pay a tribute to her leadership in our board by inviting her family and with a small token of appreciation, we brought flowers for her. And now we would like to ask for a minute of silence. If you may please stand up. Reverend Dennis, would you want to say a prayer?
Moment of silence for the month of Dukes, best ever. Amen. Father, Son.
So much. We have to propose an amendment to allow for our officers from the 40th precinct to provide a report. I understand that there is a conflict in scheduling and you would like to present first. Who would be presenting? Can I make a motion to change the agenda?
I make a motion to change the agenda and allow the public safety report to go next.
I second the motion of Leader Jesus.
All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Against? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, before we hear from our officers from the 40th precinct, we would like to invite Principal Brian Headley. Please, Mr. Headley. Thank you so much for welcoming us to your space and for allowing us to host this meeting tonight.
Absolutely, it's wonderful to have community board one. My name is Colin Hitley. I'm the principal of this high school, ABCI 1. Most important order of business, bathrooms. There's a bathroom right behind this door here. It's only single use, but there's another bathroom if you go out that door to your right, up half a flight of stairs and make it right, there's another bathroom in our teacher's lounge, and so feel free to use that if you need to. I don't want to take up much of your time at all. I just wanted to say a few words about us, and thank you again for coming. Our school started in 2008 by a bunch of community organizers who correctly recognized the educational inequities that exist in this area of New York. And I was lucky enough to join the school a year later as a part-time tutor. And here now, 17 years later, which is scary. I've been the principal for the last 7 years, and there's an awful lot that we are very proud of our students, and the 97% graduation rate and the top colleges that they're going to. And we're doing this in a very, very old building that in many ways serves us well, but we do need an upgrade, and we're very excited that we're going to be moving, hopefully, down the block in a couple of years. So I just wanted to say a couple words about our school. We are architecture and engineering themed. Many of our students come to us interested in those fields, and we support them getting into top colleges in those fields. But a lot of students don't come to us interested in those fields. They just appreciate that it's a good school, it's a safe school, an extremely high graduation rate in an area where the graduation rate is 20 points below. They feel that we're doing right by the community, and that's why they send their children here. Recently, we expanded to a middle school, and so we're now a 6th through 12th school. And if you know someone who has a child in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade who is looking for a school like us, we do have applications, and we are still accepting applications for next school year. So thank you again. I'll be back there if you need anything. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Herty. Can I make a motion to approve can I ask for a motion to approve our entire agenda tonight?
Okay, can someone make a motion to accept the agenda?
I, DeLorme, make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second,
I second.
all in favor, say aye. Aye. Against? Somebody said against? No, abstention? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, approval of the January 26th and February 26th, committee meetings.
I, DeLorme Demore, make a motion to approve the committee meetings for February 2026.
I second with a stipulation that in the future, the minutes. Excuse me, in order.
You need a mic.
Oh. I second the minutes. I second the motion with, that the minutes in the future be read and reviewed by the members first of the committee before giving up.
All in favor of that motion as amended? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Against? Abstention? None. Motion passes.
Thank you so much. Now, let's begin our meeting. 40th precinct.
Yeah, good evening. I'm Captain Ramos. I'm the Executive Officer of the 40th Precinct. Thank you so much for having us tonight. As far as the crime stats, I'll just jump right in. I could go over the specifics, but overall, for the 28-day period, we're down every category other than robbery, and it's primarily related to like domestic violence robberies. So as far as we're doing pretty good for the year so far, and I'll get to any questions you guys have. I have my team behind me. Any questions? Any concerns? Can you say again?
Community council meeting.
What was that?
When's your next meeting?
Oh, it's a community council meeting next week.
Cesar?
So, I saw like 4 cops in 138 Shady Brook Avenue. They were giving out flyers because there was like, I think there was like stabbings and things like that. So I wanted to know if something has been done for that or it hasn't changed. Like a couple of weeks ago, I saw them there giving out flyers to people.
As in regards to one of the stabbings that we have there, I mean, anytime there's a crime like that, we would, we hand out flyers to ensure that everybody's aware of, obviously, what to do to potentially either call us before something happens. But that was more of a, dispute at the time.
Any other questions for the police?
I have a question. Recently I had a burglary in my car, and my car was smashed. I waited 2 days for the police to come. Nobody came to do a report. So could this statistics be skewed because the police are not responding to every call that is made?
So as far as I know, my officers respond to every call. However, there's been circumstances, unforeseen circumstances where for one reason or another, either we get a call and it doesn't make it through, where the dispatcher calls us and then we have to wait for the secondary incoming tour to respond to. I would have to look at that individually because I'll look into that because as far as I know, unless, it's not something that happens too often.
I had two the dispatcher.
Called me twice and said, oh, they're on their way, and they never came.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm gonna take your information down, I'm gonna look at that job, because everything is documented, and we'll proceed from there. Did they eventually take your complaint report? Did they eventually take your complaint report? Did they take it? Okay, all right. We'll talk, I'm sorry.
No more questions? Thank you so much, officer.
And, please be safe and watch the black eyes, all right?
I see a hand in the back.
Please stand up if you need to be recognized. Stand up.
Okay, I'm gonna take one more question, because the officer they have something.
Good evening. I'm the TA president for Patterson Houses. And, I have people doing resident watch there. And there's a lot of problems. People coming in the building, sleeping in the building, destroying the building, smoking in the building. When the police are called, they don't respond. Now, I saw two police officers the other day on the corner of 42nd Street for 40 Precinct. Are you all now patrolling the Patterson projects?
So we work hand in hand with housing. As far as we have fixed posts throughout the 40 precinct, which is right adjacent to all the housing projects, developments that we have in the area. So when you see cops around, primarily it's either housing or the 40 precinct, regardless, we're one command. So we should be responding to all your complaints. What I'm gonna do is, if you can just give the information, we have housing here. We have Sergeant from housing here. He's gonna take your information down so that, you know, we can send more cops there.
Yeah, because we need inside the building. Thank you.
Yeah, ma'am, what I'll do is afterwards, we're gonna get the actual address, and then I'll pass it along to the housing, so, you know, and I'll let my officers know as well.
Okay, we actually have two more questions. So I'll honor those two questions, okay? And then we have to.
Hi, my name is Deborah. I'm the president of Mount Haven. How are you? My question is, so since they can do verticals in Patterson, can they do them in Mount Haven? And there has been an occasion where there was an incident and someone was trying to flag them down, and it was the 40th, and they told them, well, we don't take care of it, you have to call housing police. So what is the dynamics for that?
I know exactly what incident you're referring to. We addressed it at the command level. You know, at the command level, we addressed it. Now, as far as, you know, we have a lot of, you guys have to understand, we have a lot of new officers out there that we're trying to impart some knowledge on and help them develop, right? It would make sense to take the complaint, you know, but we addressed that. I think that went down to disciplinary action that we took on that specific officer. Just understand, if you guys have any issues with an individual officer, it's not a representation of what we're trying to push at the command level, 4 or PSA 7, right?
So I just want to make sure that we understand exactly the process and the protocol, so that we are actually saying to the officers, no, you actually can do this. So that's all I want to be clear. So if the answer is yes, then we know how to proceed.
It's absolutely, the answer is, we take a complaint regardless of where it occurred. It could happen in Brooklyn, right? We have to take the complaint. If it's something that specific command has to respond to, right, they'll come out, they'll take the information, but initially we have to take the complaint. We're one NYPD, right, and one community. So at the end of the day, that's how we go about it.
Thank you for being here today, and thank you to all the officers for the good work that they do. I was reading in the news that the commissioner has great news for us in the Bronx, that there will now be a Bronx North and a Bronx South. Do you have any information, further information about that as to, because currently our borough command is at like 175th. Do you know where the locations will be for Bronx North and Bronx South? And we have more police officers, that's great.
So as far as your question, right, you're asking if we know a specific building a location where now we're gonna stand up like Bronx South, right? And Bronx North. I think obviously we wanna use that facility that we have right now, which is the 48th precinct, as, you know, our overhead command, because that's what you need. You have precincts, but then you have an overhead command that oversees everything that happens in the precinct. So specifically, I don't want to speak to rumors that I heard, because, you know, unless it happens, it hasn't happened yet. I know the police commissioner did mention that at the end of the day, sometime in spring. She didn't give a specific date. And right now, everything's in the works to make it happen. It looks like it will, right? But I don't want to, you know, I don't have any information as far as when it's going to actually take off, or specifically, you know, the relocation as to what building the overhead command is going to be for one of the two, Bronx or North. Now, I'd just like to say, please be safe. And I know there's individualized discrepancies in the past, or as we move along, we're working together. And that's one of the things. If you guys have any concerns whatsoever, you can come and see me at the 40th precinct, all right? Just ask for me, and I have the cards. I'll leave some up here. And if you can't get one, just take a picture of it, please.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to all the officers in the 40th precinct for joining us this evening. I also want to let you know that if anyone wanted to connect with the officers, can we give the best contact information for anybody who might want to connect, or what is the protocol besides calling 311, 911?
So right now we have Q-Team, our 4 precinct Q-Team, and PSC 7 quality of life team. They're there, and we have specific, you know, I'm gonna pass it on to, I'll pass it on to my quality of life sergeant. He's gonna speak on behalf.
Good evening, Sergeant March here. I do the evening precinct. If you guys, I'm sorry, can you hear me now? I do the evening QT for the 40 precinct. I'll be available. I have my cards here. I have some officers with me. If you guys need our contact information, please feel free. We'll give us your information. We'll get in contact with you if you need us to, and we'll leave our information so you can get in contact with us directly.
And one last thing, regardless of what it is, you're gonna have to call 911 or 311 first, right? That way you know, that service group request can be documented, and then, you know, you'll have the point of contact for the Q team sergeant, as well as the Q team officers, where you can, you know, call the phone number, but just know they're not working 24/7. So you have to call 311 to 911. Now, also understand in these meetings, it's very important to bring up all these concerns, because then we can now follow up more on a regular basis. Now we know it's not just a one-time thing where you're calling 311, now we have another 311 call, but now we understand, okay, now we have a point of contact. When we do respond, then we'll call you back to give you, you know, an assessment of what we see on our end, right?
Thank you so much, Officer Ramos, and thank you so much to everyone at the 40th precinct. Can we give them a round of applause? Thank you so much. Now we are going into public session. We have 3 minutes for anyone who wants to present during our public session. Is there anyone that wants to present during our public session? Okay. Well, okay, beautiful. Now we want to go into the next item in our agenda, which are our voting items. I will read first. So first, I will read, for those of you that do not may have an agenda in your hands, we have several items. For tonight, we have the street co-naming for Marion E. Rose Way. We have a liquor license, a cannabis license, and also a request for a letter of support from the 3rd Avenue bid. before we go into our public hearing regarding the Euler process for 351 Powers Avenue. Do we have all the presenters tonight? Do we have anyone representing Papi Carne Lounge? Anyone representing Sumikana LLC or Combot? Do we have anyone from the Third Avenue people? Great. Do we have representatives from Marion E. Rose family? If you please may stand up. Excellent. I may ask that you will take a seat again. Thank you so much. We've also been joined by Madam Board President Vanessa L. Gibson. And while we allow her to get acclimated to the meeting tonight, what I will do is to request our co-chair, Josephine, to please, okay. If I may ask for our co-chair to please read the bio.
Miss Marion Estelle Rose was a visionary community activist, educator, public servant whose lifelong dedication transformed civic leadership and social advocacy in the South Bronx. A pioneer of her time, she made history as the first African-American elected Democratic district leader in the South Bronx, setting a precedent for inclusive leadership and community empowerment. Her work centered on uniting families, strengthening institutions, and advancing equity for children and working-class residents. That's, I think, the majority. The naming of this street in honor of Marion Estelle Rose recognizes a legacy defined by service, compassion, and transformative leadership. Her enduring impact on the South Bronx stands as a testament to a life committed to justice, opportunity, and the unwavering belief that strong communities are built by those who serve them selflessly.
Thank you so much. Now, I want to thank again the family of Marion Estelle Rose for joining us this evening, but also for going forward with this process to ensure that she is recognized in this way. The family has completed all the required steps, and submitted all the proper information, and this has been well received in our community board. What we want to do tonight is to take a vote to memorialize her name and her leadership with this act. I would like to ask Ambrose if you want to, as the chair of the Municipal Services Committee, if you want to elaborate on the process or anything that you may want to add.
Well, as you say, Madam Chair, we went through the process and they met all the requirements. Also, she was very active in the community that has really set an example. I mean, we don't just even name the street after somebody for nothing. We want to make sure that represent the community, somebody that our kids will grow up and look at the name and say, it means something to us. And that's the reason why we're able to pass it. And we would like the community now to really help us make this a reality as a good, memorable relationship in between our community. I think we're going to proceed. The street is it what is it going to be, right? Yeah, it's going to be on front of the
Say the street again. It's
142nd and Willis Avenue. Since we have representatives from the family, I would love to give the opportunity to any of you to say a few words, if you may.
Before you do, we got it. Yeah.
The mic is coming. 143rd and Willis Avenue, to be specific.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jay Ortiz, and I am the granddaughter of Marion E. Rose. I will be speaking on behalf of my sister who could not make it today. My name is Janique Ortiz, and I'm here as an educator, as someone preparing to complete my educational leadership program, but most importantly, as a granddaughter of Marion Estelle Rose. Growing up, I did not fully understand the magnitude of who my grandmother was to the South Bronx. I was young, so to me, she was just simply grandma, the one who loved us deeply, who kept our family close, and who always reminded us to enjoy life. She used to say she was international, and she wore that proudly, encouraging us to experience the world, embrace people, and never forget to live our lives fully. She would always tell us, live your life and have fun. It wasn't until I got older that I began to truly learn about the depth of her work. Through stories, through community members, through the impact that still carries her name. As I step into my own journey in education and community work, I begin to feel that connection even more. Today, I serve young people, not only in the classroom, but beyond it, with after-school programs, coaching a dance team, and helping organize community events like Hispanic Heritage Month and Black History Month that is happening next week at my school. Creating spaces where students and families feel proud, seen, and connected. While I may have been too young to witness her work firsthand, I walk in spaces every day that reflect the kind of community commitment she believed in. As I prepare to move into school leadership, I carry that legacy with me, understanding that true leadership is about service, advocacy, and showing up for people continuously. Renaming the street is not just about acknowledging what she did, it's about honoring the lasting imprint she left on her community. It ensures that future generations will see her name and know that someone dedicated her life to uplifting families and residents of the South Bronx. As her granddaughter, I am someone who is striving and continuing to live in the spirit through her. I respectfully ask to approve the street naming so her legacy lives on, not only in story, but in every street she worked so hard to uplift. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And she came prepared. That was amazing. So thank you so much. And thank you to everyone in your family for completing this process and for trusting us here at the community board. And we want to do our best as well to preserve Marion's legacy. So now I would like to kindly ask our chair for the Municipal Services Committee to hold the vote.
All right, we have a motion to approve the. We have a motion, the vote.
I, Oye de Jesus, approve the motion. Second by Brenda Goodwin.
Okay, so discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion passes.
Thank you so much. So at the community board level, we have completed the process. Now it goes through the city council process. We're happy to, as we usually do, we have, our council member, Encarnacion, which I believe is the person who will be carrying it in front of the city council. And we wish you the best. And we look forward to a beautiful celebration. Thank you so much. Okay. Next on the list.
Next on the agenda is the liquor license for Poppy Carne Lounge renewal. This organization did not come to the committee, so the committee disapproved their renewal license, so they will have to come back. Please, I ask for a motion from the floor to accept the committee's recommendation to deny them their licensing because they did not show up to their meeting.
And I hope that has a second.
Discussion on the motion? All in favor? Aye. Against? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, the next item is cannabis license for Summit Canna LLC, DBA Conbud. They didn't show it? Okay, so what was the committee approved their renewal license, so I need a motion from the floor.
To approve the
Conbud renewal license. Second?
I, Alderman Maxwell, second.
Second, okay. Discussion on the motion? None, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, the last is a letter of support for the Third Avenue bid commercial revitalization, Elton Avenue. And he's here, so.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ben Engel. I'm Program Manager with the Third Avenue Business Improvement District. Very happy to speak to everyone here at Community Board 1 tonight about a really fun commercial revitalization project that I've presented on a couple of times to the committees and that the Department of Transportation presented on about the closure of a slip lane on Elton Avenue. To create a new public plaza. It's about 3,000 square feet of new open space. Obviously, the transportation department presented on plans. They said that they would come back when construction would start. It wouldn't take much, they said, right? A few boulders and some gray paint. But if it's something that the board believes in and wants to support, I think a letter from the board to DOT would go a long way. So that's what the bid is asking for your support for this new open space to drive commercial revitalization in the north end of the business improvement districts. Thank you.
Okay, we need, the committee approved this for a letter of support, so I needed a motion. The letter of support for the commercial revitalization on Elton Avenue. Anyone second? Cesar seconds. Discussion on the motion? I would like to ask what will, since we've had such a big problem with the plaza, what is going to deter that area from becoming the same thing?
Yeah, the school where the plaza is, I'm glad that DOT presented from the school safety department. I think that's going to be crucial, having them be an essential partner. I also want to say that the bid has really strengthened our ties with the 40th precinct, and that is in our area, so it is in the bid district, so it's something that our maintenance people will have direct contact with every day, and with our connections at the precincts, any issues will be brought up very quickly.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Or Cesar?
Okay, for me, we don't have a lot of open spaces in the neighborhood, so we have the lowest open space ratio in the city. So I know some people are concerned with traffic and all this stuff, but then you have to weigh the pros and cons. If we need more open spaces, if we need more green spaces for planters and things like that. So that's the reason why me said yes, we need more of that in the neighborhood. Anytime members in the neighborhood.
Any more discussion on the motion? All right, so all in favor, say aye. Aye. Against? Abstain? Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, I do want to say that the Third Avenue League is an amazing partner in the game. We welcome any efforts that mean that our community will be strengthened and supported. So please tell Pedro that, we should schedule a meeting, we should follow up, and by all means, if you're not familiar with the work of the Third Avenue League, please get familiar with them, especially if you have any entrepreneurship ideas. And speaking of entrepreneurship, I also want to acknowledge the presence of my dear friend Kenya Abreu, president of the New York Women Chamber of Commerce. Kenya, if you may stand up, please. Thank you so much, Kenya. We recently began a collaboration with the New York Women Chamber of Commerce. Kenya, would you want to elaborate briefly on the work that the chamber is doing?
Yes.
And any opportunities that are available.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Paola. Very quickly, thank you for the opportunity and good evening, everyone. So my name is Kenya Abreu, president of the New York Women's Chamber of Commerce. We have an office here on Third Avenue, also working with the small businesses, especially with our women entrepreneurs, of course. So if you want any information about that, you can always come and talk to us. We're also working with some of our projects here. We have a partner that's going to be presenting today, and it's to help local businesses, especially minority and women business owners, participate in local projects that are happening today. So we have a project that is happening. HPD is going to present, and our partner also, Lily Wolf, on the project, an amazing project that is coming here to Community Board 1, and we're going to be a part of that to make sure, our goal is to make sure that we have the participation of local businesses, MWB, women and minority business owners, and local businesses in the project, and also the workforce. And we're going to be working with the bids, we're going to be working with the Bronx Chamber of Commerce, and we're going to be working with a lot of different organizations to make sure that that happens. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
And
Kenya.
the Office of the Board President, of course.
Thank you so much. Now, without further ado, I would like to give the mic to our dear Bronx Borough President, Vanessa Elderson.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening, Community Board 1. Many of you I may have had the chance to see since the new year started, but I'm so grateful that everyone is here. And I just want to, on behalf of my team at Borough Hall, just extend the warmest appreciation to everyone who is here tonight for our monthly meeting. I want to acknowledge our Madam Chair, Paola Martinez, our District Manager, Anthony Jordan, our Executive Board members, all of our committee chairs, all of our elected officials and staff. Shout out to the NYPDs, good to see you tonight. And to all of the members of the community, thank you for being here. Thank you for recognizing the importance of coming out to your local community board meeting. So I first want to join the distinguished members of Committee Board 1 in recognizing the loss and the official support of the street co-naming in honor of a dear friend, Marion, and all the great work that she stood for in School District 7, Community Board 1, the South Bronx. Street co-namings are not symbolic, but it's about a legacy. It's about making sure that the legacy of the person we lost is forever enshrined in a name sign. It's about making sure that their legacy carries on through the community, through the work that they have done, their impact, and certainly Marion is well deserving of that. And as the borough president, while I no longer officially do street co-namings, but I definitely support them. So I will be working with our council member and the members of our Bronx delegation in supporting that when it is officially introed. in the city council and it goes through the legislative process and ultimately getting passed and codified in local law. So to the family who is here, God bless you, and may Marion's legacy always live on. So secondly, I also want to acknowledge the transition of a dear friend, a leader, I think someone who was synonymous with the community. She always told us like it was, often said no to me. When I would ask her to sit down and make sure she's okay, she would always say, I'm good, I'm fine, I'm great. And that's, of course, Miss Linda Duke. And her daughter, Michelle, is here, and I just want to say to her daughter, her children, her grandchildren, that Linda was a part of our community. I've known Linda over my years, not just as borough president, but when I was in the city council, because I used to come over to Mitchell sometimes when I was in the city council, and Linda was always there. And of course, the tragedy that we had on October 1st, we are thankful that no one passed away, but the collapse at Mitchell Houses deeply affected Linda. She was a resident of Mitchell in the affected building, and she made sure that she was at the community center every day, making sure that work was being done so that tenants and families at Mitchell were able to return. So I honor her legacy, and I think it's even more profound that it's Black History Month. And so I stand in the legacy, as we all do, of Linda Duke. I know that she is resting in the kingdom of God. I know that she is in his everlasting arms. And on March 14th, Women's History Month, we are going to celebrate her life in a real way. So I just send my condolences and my prayers to her family, to the community, and everyone that was profoundly impacted by her life and legacy. May she rest in peace. So just a few quick updates that I wanted to provide. I know we have an item on tonight's agenda for a presentation on a new housing development for Community Board 1, but I just want to start by saying thank you. It has been the absolute honor of my life to serve as borough president. And this year, I started my second term after my re-election last year. It's okay for me to say that now. It's okay for me to say I was re-elected in 2025, and now, as a result of that election, we are starting our second term. And we provided our blueprint for our agenda very intentionally on February 1st, the start of Black History Month, me being the first ever African American and woman to serve, and we wanted to make sure the residents of our borough understand how we are moving this borough forward. In the last 4 years, almost $90 million invested across our public schools, millions of dollars invested in housing, and so many opportunities, our colleges and universities, cultural institutions. We've done a lot, but we still have more work to go. And so the second year is one of deep commitment and dedication and intention and purpose. Our message this year, the Bronx leads. And if anyone is driving into the Bronx and you see the green and white signs that say, welcome to the Bronx, it has the mayor's name, it has my name, but guess what it says now? The Bronx leads. Because I want everyone to know that we are going to build this borough to the future for our children, for our families, whether it's economic development, pathways to the middle class, deeply affordable housing, home ownership, building economic wealth and generational wealth, supporting small businesses and entrepreneurs, investing in education and higher education, supporting the priorities that we know matter to our community. All the issues that you all fight for each and every day, it matters when we show up. And I often say to my colleagues in other boroughs, the Bronx requires us to show up differently. You cannot show up with an average message for the Bronx for anything. You have to set the standard higher. And I try every day to show you what we can do at Borough Hall. And that means showing up. It means investments. It means partnerships. It means making sure that residents feel connected, engaged, respected, and valued, right? And so I am proud of how far we have come, and I look forward to more work ahead. A couple of projects that we have been focused on. partnership with the Department of Labor, Future Focus Bronx, lowering the unemployment rate, giving residents real, good-paying, sustainable jobs and careers. I believe in both. We have job fairs every other month in the borough at Borough Hall. We have another one coming up, and we are targeting populations often left out of the traditional job market. So we will be in touch with the next job fair that we are hosting at Borough Hall. We just opened the first ever blood center that is operated by the New York Blood Center. It is in the East Bronx. Now they are officially in all 5 boroughs. I said they saved the best for last. I'm just saying. And it means a lot for us to save lives. I don't know how many of you donate blood, but I can tell you as someone who is a blood donor recipient, 2 times over, I rely on blood donations because many of us sometimes don't know when your hemo level is low. Like mine was 4.6, and the doctor said, how are you even walking? I needed a blood transfusion, and I was able to get it because we had a blood supply. We need more residents to support this effort by donating blood. At any given time, you could be a victim of some sort of a crash or an accident. You could be a cancer patient, a number of different patients, and you will need that blood donation. And so we are going to launch a campaign on it to not only make it attractive, it's less than an hour, and it can save up to 3 lives. It matters. Public safety, we've invested about $1.4 million to the NYPD across the borough to install new Argus cameras. We also invested $500,000 to the Department of Sanitation to curb illegal dumping and making sure that the sanitation department is supported. There's a lot of economic development projects happening across the borough, the Metro North expansion in the East Bronx, the work we're doing down in Hunts Point at the Food Distribution Center, the new casino license that Bally's was awarded back in December. It's going to be in the East Bronx, a $625 million investment in the borough. The Hip Hop Museum is opening this year. Very excited about that. And the Kingsbridge Armory. We are finally underway with a new plan and a new development team that is going to work the 3rd time around. It's going to work, I promise you. But a lot of great things that are happening, and I'm really excited about these opportunities. So I just wanted to share that we are going to be focused on jobs, tourism, economic development, all of the work we do in housing, education, transportation, like tapping the Cross Bronx, reducing asthma rates, introducing a Bronx asthma center, which is a big deal, to curb asthma. So many families and children live with asthma today. So it's a lot. And so if you are interested in learning anything more about any of the topics I talked about, I want you to visit our website, and we are going to be rolling out a revamped website that is going to ensure that it is accessible. Accessibility is so important. And what I am going to do with all 12 community boards, we're going to make sure that MOPD, the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities, they're going to come to our boards and give everyone a training. Some of the things that we often say when it comes to terms for disabled New Yorkers, we're going to make sure that you understand the entire disability community. My office just got the training last week, and it was incredibly helpful because sometimes in our everyday conversation, we don't always know how to talk to someone that has a disability. Not every disability is visible. We have wheelchair users, we have the deaf community, we have the blind community, and we want to make sure that we understand. I was one of those people that overly tried to be comfortable around a disabled New Yorker, but I tried too hard. So I would use terms that were not acceptable, like differently abled. We don't say that in that space. We just say disabled. You are blind, you're a wheelchair user, right? How do you interact with someone and help them if they need assistance as you see them outside? And so it's really important for me to make sure that all of our boards are equipped with that. So we're going to be introducing that very shortly. We also want to partner with Community Board 1 on a fire education and safety forum. Actually, I'm going to do more than one because I want to make sure that we're trying to get around the borough, around the communities as much as we can. All the fires we have in the Bronx. Many are preventable by some of the actions that we have, the behaviors. It's winter, safe spaces, heating, hot water, ventilation. Sometimes we resort to measures that are not safe because we are not getting sufficient heat and hot water. So we're working with the FDNY, the American Red Cross, to sound the alarm, to make sure we do our part to keep everyone safe, not just residential, but commercial as well. In addition, we are sharing that the application to join the community board, we did extend it by a week. From last week until this Sunday, March 1st is the deadline. To date, we've received over 300 applications and about 30 in CD1. So I will be working with the leadership of Committee Board 1 to look at all the new applicants. But you know, we go through this process very delicately. We are always trying to add new faces, new voices, new ideas, people that represent different professions, different backgrounds, whether they are business owners, entrepreneurs, homeowners, veterans, they're disabled, they represent the LGBT community, they're veterans, any part of our community we always want to touch. And I feel the CBs are the most basic part of our civic engagement and democracy. So we always want our community boards to be reflective of the communities that you serve. Here in the South Bronx, it matters when you can look at your board and see yourself. So we're very intentional about that. We also are going over the reappointment applications for everyone that's up this year in 26 for 1 or 2 year. You know, term limits are coming, so this is just a friendly reminder. We have a list of all the members of each board, all 50 or the members that are there, and we also know the term in which your time expires, if it's 26, 27, 28, but this is the law, and people have asked, no, you can't be exempt, because it's the law, unless it's changed, but these are the measures that we have to now work within. And so we're going to do our very best. We've already started conversations with our chairs and our district managers to make sure that we are as prepared as possible. You know how we are in the Bronx. We stay ready so we don't have to get ready. And so in addition to that, you know, we have a code of conduct for our board members, and we want to make sure that there are always opportunities. Even if not a member of a community board, we have neighborhood advisory boards, we have the CABs, the community advisory boards for all of our public hospitals, Lincoln Hospital, Jacoby, North Central, as well as our Gotham, Belvis, Morrisania, Tremont, Gun Hill, it's a lot. But either way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just here to really just share a lot of what we do. If I had more time, I would tell you about everything else we do. But more so, it's just really to make sure that you all know that our office is here. My community board unit is led by Kira Gadden, who's here tonight. She chairs and leads the office for our community board. So her and her team, we work with all 12. And we really are trying to make sure that we are as interactive, as engaging as we can, coming up with new ideas, right? Making sure that your bylaws are intact, making sure that the residents feel connected. So we have a couple of events coming up that are in the table in the back. We have a home ownership fair that's coming up. We also have a chess tournament. We have an iftar celebration for the recognition of Ramadan. We have a college fair coming up, one of my favorites. We have a task force on higher education in the office. So we are having a higher ed college fair on Wednesday, March 11th at Ostos Community College. And we have a few other things, it's a lot. Just make sure you stay connected with our office. We send emails out on Tuesdays. Check us out social media. The final thing I'll say is let me acknowledge the incredible city workers that we are proud to work with across our borough when it came to snow removal and responding to every blizzard and snowstorm that this borough has faced. We got nearly 2 feet of snow from Sunday into Monday, and I know all of you saw that. It was a lot. To put in a travel ban is a lot. To limit our travel is a lot because of the volume of snow. And I don't know, but maybe it's because this time around compared to January, the weather is much warmer. So I have seen the cleanup in this winter storm much better and much more efficient than the one in January. January was a lot, and I got a lot of calls. Not to say that we're not getting calls now. The challenges that we're facing is snow removal coupled with trash pickup and recycling, which you know are the same sanitation workers. A lot of volunteers signed up to work and get the pay that was offered to work and help sanitation. But you know what I saw? I saw neighbors helping neighbors. I saw homeowners helping their neighbors, helping seniors and older adults. Like, that's what neighbor is all about. That's what community is about. So I'm really glad that so far we're okay, even though we're still in the midst of the winter season. And I know more snow is probably coming at a lesser extent, of course. But if there are generally issues that you are experiencing in your neighborhood, on your block, your HOA, your HDFC, your rental building, your public housing building, anything, and it's not been addressed, of course, the community board, but please reach out to us. We're getting a lot of calls about potholes everywhere, because, again, of the snow. So we're trying to respond to that. We're getting calls about like derelict vehicles and other things that are under DOT and parks and sanitation's purview. So we will do our very best to respond to all of them. Reach out so that we can support you and help you in any way. And I look forward to working with you. Happy Black History Month. Happy Dominican Heritage Month. I look forward to Women's History, Irish American Heritage, Italian, Greek. We celebrate everybody in the Bronx. But these are all the celebrations that are coming up. And to all of my colleagues in government who are in Albany at session at City Hall, I look forward to working with you. This is going to be a tough budget year for FY27. We have a $5 billion deficit, a lot of big decisions, but I think it's fair for me to say, as your borough president, I am not going to support a property tax increase. I am not supporting that. And I know my elected officials agree, we cannot put the burden of our financials of this city on the backs of homeowners and property owners, and especially in working class communities. This is a city that keeps growing unaffordable, and we've lost so many residents now in the last 10 years. And if we don't make better decisions, we're going to lose even more. And I understand the mayor's intention of a millionaire tax. No one in here is a millionaire. So you would not be affected by a millionaire tax. I get it. And we want to make sure that we find ways to bring in revenue and make sure that government city services are not impacted. I don't want libraries and parks and playgrounds and schools to be cut. And that's what's happened in the past, and we cannot go down that road again. So I will be a voice for you and everyone else to make sure. I've already made my position clear to the mayor 2 weeks ago. I have a letter that I'm sending out to the mayor with the borough president. All 5 of us agree, actually. You don't always get 5 borough presidents on board. And that means Staten Island too, shout out to Staten Island. But we all agree that we cannot support a property tax increase. If anything, one thing you should know is the property tax assessment is flawed. So because of the assessment, which is a technical term, but it has to go through Albany, through the state assembly and senate, but it means that many homeowners that are in the Bronx, your assessment is higher than affluent, wealthy neighborhoods in the Upper West Side, in Brooklyn, in Queens, and other places, and that's not fair. That should be fixed first before there's any proposal that's on the table. And that's what we've been saying. We've sounded the alarm. There's no way that 9.5% or any level of increase is not going to hurt, right? Many are struggling today, and we do not want to put that burden on all of you. So you can be clear that I, your borough president, will not support an increase, and I will do everything I can to work with the mayor and his team to identify other ways to bring in revenue. So I thank you so much, everyone, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Madam Borough President. Do we have any questions? We have one question. Okay.
Hi. Which many years ago when we were doing elections. Congratulations on your new win. I just want to make a comment that now that we have a new DOT commissioner, thank God, we really need to work on the traffic in the borough. There were changes made that the communities have fixed more than 20 years ago. And the traffic is made worse by very poor decisions. The exit at Leggett Avenue, 8 people have been killed over there in this past year. I just heard that on the news. There's a lady recently who was killed. It's not very visible, and it's very poor planning. Their signs are not visible when the people get off the exit. They need to have signs, that say go straight, because the cars are going from the right across the lanes that are exiting. Craziness. And there have been bike lanes put in, turning two-way streets into one-way streets. The lights are not signaled, the signs are not right, people are not using them, and there's another bike lane next door. So traffic is one, and the other is healthcare. I don't know what is going on, but our healthcare has been deteriorating. Can't get an appointment. I decided I needed a dental cleaning. We have a wonderful resource in our community, Hostos Community College, that has a dental hygiene school. You can get your teeth cleaned for free. You can go there. Unfortunately, the last time I went in September, a felony came out. Okay, no problem, go to the dentist. Dental appointment was in December. I went in December, then they told me I need to see an endodontist. Called everywhere, endodontists have all quit. Not all of them, but many, and could not get an appointment. I just got the root canal a week or 2 weeks ago in Montefiore. They have a residency program for endodontists, and she did a wonderful job. And now I need to wait until March to get the cap on it, because it's been going on since September. I've lived in New York 40 years. I can't believe what's going on. And in the Bronx, my therapist, I had a physical therapist at Lincoln Hospital. She was the best. I swore by this therapist in Lincoln Hospital. We had some fight. 11 therapists left Lincoln Hospital. And she went to Montefiore. I don't know where the others went, so I followed her to Manhattan. But it's a concern. I would prefer, because I live near where the new jail is going to be. If there's going to be a new jail, I don't know. It would have been better if there were a medical facility, or if there's some way we can expand Ruiz Elvis. They were a wonderful resource to our community during COVID. They saved us. Some people in Manhattan were having difficulty being tested. Ruiz Elvis really took care of us. So that's just my opinion. So for you to keep that in mind, thank you.
And now with this new administration at City Hall, understand that the mayor is still making announcements of his new commissioners. And so this is still a new administration that's learning and leading at the same time. So my hope is there is a new city commissioner of DLT. I have not yet met him one-on-one, but he is certainly welcome to come to the Bronx and meet with elected officials and make sure that he can meet with our community. I would love to see that. We have an acting Bronx DOT commissioner, Darissa Cruz, who's been there for quite some time, and she's been the one that's facilitated all of the work with DOT. But if there are measures that were already put in by the prior admin, whether it's a pedestrian walkway, whether it's a bike lane, a dedicated bus lane, a lot of changes, we absolutely have to bring some of these issues up, especially if it is causing the intersection or thoroughfare to be unsafe, right? That's the big issue. Most of the measures that have been implemented has been to curb traffic and to curb behaviors of others and to keep pedestrians and children and cyclists safe. We have had far too much, I call it traffic violence, where people have been injured and or killed at intersections in crosswalks because of reckless, out of control drivers, speeders. There is legislation now, I just looked at it, that I'm being asked to support in the state that is going to provide some sort of a mechanism where you can install a device in your vehicle that prohibits you from speeding. And it's for those that are found guilty of excessive speeding, right? It's like probably the last step before your license is revoked, where you have points on your license, you have a track record, and sometimes these are the individuals that are at fault, right? And I know, I often don't use the word accident, I know crashes happen that are preventable. And yes, we have to look more thoroughly at our streets, but one thing that someone always said to me that's so true, the one part of our city that does not get bigger in size are streets. We can't make the streets wider. We have to find ways to share streets with buses, pedestrians, with cyclists, with accessorized, with our city vehicle. I mean, it's a lot. And so we're really trying to find balance, but if there are specific areas like we talked about Leggett, then we have to look at that. And my hope is to bring DOT to come to the borough. Healthcare, much longer conversation. We'll love to talk to you offline about that because the healthcare industry is really at risk of getting even more challenging with major cuts. HR 1, which is that big ugly bill we talked about, will start to be implemented this year. And major CBOs, FQHCs, all of our community-based health centers will start to see those cuts. And they're going to be enormous, and that's going to impact us. How we make up for that is the question. No one has extra money sitting in a reserve where we can make up for these federal cuts. And so we're trying to plan for that. Those of you in the healthcare field, you know. Those of you in the food service industry, you know, because you already see it now with the longer lines at food pantries and soup kitchens. We're feeding more people and families because they just don't have enough to make ends meet. Did you see what we experienced in November with these SNAP cuts and how we had to mobilize in action? That can happen again tomorrow. It can happen again next month because we have so many families that need access to these services. These are essentials, they're lifelines. So we've been meeting with a lot of the organizations, a lot of the providers already to try to figure out what we can do, right? Because many of our families in the Bronx are Medicaid and Medicare recipients, and they rely on the government programs, and we understand that. But when government is threatening these programs, it is going to have an impact on day-to-day service. And so we would love to keep talking because we're in the budget season right now to find out how much we can get from the state government and from local government as well.
We have time for 2 more questions.
Congratulations again on your second term, Madam President. I know that your heart and soul is with the travesties that we've encountered with our fires, because when you first was elected, you and I were boots on the ground at the school with Twin Peaks when the tragedy happened in those buildings. My question would be, how can we implement how we have these board meetings? We want the fire department to also be here and give us stats like they do, as the police department do. And when you're having that fire, that safety training that you're doing, are they going to give us providers with carbon monoxide with that safety, training? All right.
Yes. So absolutely, the question was, FDNY should absolutely come to our board meetings and give an oversight to talk about fire safety, fire prevention, fire education. They have a whole unit dedicated to that. The fire commissioner, the new commissioner, has 30 years of experience under EMS. And you know that most of our calls are medical related. In addition, we work with organizations and partners, the American Red Cross. We do free home installations for carbon monoxide and smoke alarm detectors. And I do it too. I go out with Red Cross, I'll roll up, say, hey, can we install your detector? And we give them a whole briefing on what to do. We work with different organizations, Home Depot, Kid A. These are all places where we can get free smoke alarms. And we ask anyone, if you want to get a free home installation, you can call the 1877 number, 1877 Red Cross. Very straightforward, 1877 Red Cross. So answer to your question, yes, yes, and we'll make sure we get FDNY to come out.
Madam Board President, we have 2 more questions.
I'm part of the Environmental Justice Advisory Board for the city. So we are working on an environmental justice plan. And also there's discussion with the industrial plan. And sometimes they contradict with each other. So I know you mentioned about getting more funding for different projects and things like that. So I wanted to know how engaged is the borough president in that process with the environmental justice plan that the city's doing.
Oh, okay, I think I know what plan you're talking about. I'm involved in a couple of things. I'm involved in the Captain Cross Bronx Expressway Coalition. I'm also involved in the Five Bridges Project by the State Department of Transportation that would ultimately try to expand the Cross Bronx to make it more structurally safe, along with 4 other smaller bridges. And that's led by the Bronx River Alliance and other organizations in the Bronx River community. I also have a solid waste advisory board, and we've been working with the Department of Sanitation on a new solid waste plan for 2026 that we want to roll out that focuses on reducing food waste, composting, which I know is not very popular, recycling and other measures where we can look at a lot of our natural resources for the preservation of food, of goods, of agriculture. We have a lot of farmers in the Bronx. I know people may not believe it, we can't compete with upstate, but we have a lot of independent farmers in the Bronx that grow their own produce. And so we've been trying to build that out to see how we can support them in a real way where we can access healthier food. And this plan is probably through the mayor's office, so I'm involved in it with respect to some of the stakeholders that I work with today that are helping me build out what that environmental justice agenda looks like. So organizations like The Point, South Bronx Unite, they do a lot of great work. They have been giving me a lot of guidance on some of the measures they've already looked at with the state DEC, Environmental Conservation, and the Mayor's Office of Climate and Resiliency. So that's still underway. We'd love to work with you and the organization you're involved with to make sure that we can connect on ideas.
I'm part of that board.
Thank you so much. Which board?
That board that meets with the organizations, I'm part of that. That's what-
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Hi, how are you? My name is Evelyn Alvarez, and I am a co-founder of BX Reaper. You spoke specifically.
What organization?
BX Reaper. We are
Oh,
BX. And so I know that you support the establishment of a birthing center in the Bronx, but between now and then, can you speak a little bit about some of the initiatives you have to support pregnant people in the borough and what is on your pipeline? And secondly, my second question is, based on what you said and what was mentioned about the essentially lack of staff, right, in terms of health education, like what possibility would there be to establish a plan where we are supporting Bronx-based students to take and to prioritize health careers in order to prevent us from not having enough doctors so that we don't lose options for our health?
Oh, okay. Great question. I am all for providing pathways for young people who are interns and college students that are studying nursing and science and medicine. I think that's a great idea. I would love to see what a partnership could look like with CUNY and some of our other institutions. We have a lot of medical institutions in this borough that create a lot of jobs and have a real impact in the Bronx, right? So if it's Monty, if it's Einstein, we work with Health and Hospitals, of course, but I would love to see what that looks like because I think it's important to give young people an opportunity who are learning because they are going to take over, particularly when we have a nursing shortage right now. Even with all the nurses we have in NICENA and 1199, we still have a nursing shortage, right? And you see what the nurses just went through at Cornell, as well as Presby and Monty. I'm glad that's been resolved, thankfully. But maternal health, big deal. I didn't talk about life on that, but the birthing center is a plan. We have $5 million from the governor last year to support a new birthing center. We were the first in New York City to ever open a birthing center in 1988. It was called the Childbearing Center of Morris Heights, and Morris Heights Health Center still exists today. It lasted for 20 years and it closed for many reasons. There are only 2 left in the state, one in Brooklyn, one in Buffalo, and we want to be the 3rd one. We are on the cusp of doing it. We have a beginning model, which is a reproductive wellness hub. It's called Marion Clinic. It's in Norwood. It's right near North Central Bronx. And it is a reproductive hub of alternative health options, of holistic treatment, wraparound services for birthing individuals, for women who are expecting, and it's led by Black and Latino women. It's also the understanding that because of the maternal crisis that we have with maternal mortality and morbidity, where Black and Latino women are 9.2 times more likely to die due to pregnancy-related complications. So it's a safe space. It is consistent with birth workers, doulas, and midwives, and there's a whole network of Black maternal workers that are advocates, that are doulas themselves, and they have been helping guide us on how we open this birthing center. Because the two challenges we have, approval by the health department in the state, licensing, and insurance. Insurance is a big factor because we have to have an insurance company to insure us so that if there's any issues, we will, have that liability coverage. But the momentum is there. We issued a birthing report a year and a half ago that's on my website, and we want to make sure that Black mothers get real access to equity in healthcare. It's a great topic. There's a filmmaker in the Bronx named Brittany Russell that did a whole movie on Black maternal healthcare. So I would love to talk to you more about it because what we're doing right now in the immediacy is we're working with birth workers, doulas, and midwives. We raised the Medicaid reimbursement rate so that they could be paid equitably because that was a challenge. We also made sure that Medicaid covered doula services. We also ensure that prenatal and postnatal care is covered by Medicaid, and we're building out a birthing directory in the state health department that will have a list of all licensed doulas and midwives across the state. A lot of things that would not have happened without credible messengers, women that were affected, and so many advocates that said, we cannot wait. Black and brown mothers in the Bronx cannot wait because we have real cases of women who have died giving birth. And so the fact that that has happened, I cannot allow that to continue under my watch and our watch because we can do something about it. So I'm definitely prioritizing it. I'm looking forward to more money because I need $1.5 million. But I'm definitely making sure that, and we have a location too that's in the Northwest Bronx as well where we want to open the birthing center.
Thank you so much, Madam Board President, for that comprehensive overview.
Thank you.
And here at TV1, we have an amazing advocate for the birthing center as well. Evelyn, with all the amazing ideas that you have, we also look forward to seeing how at the community board level we can implement local solutions and initiatives and making sure that this information is also available in multiple languages for the people that need it. So thank you so much again, Madam Board President. Thank you. And if you're hanging around with us for a little bit more, we appreciate that. And now we do have a presentation, and I would ask our chair of the Economic Development Committee to lead that portion of the conversation. I wonder, the folks from PS7, the housing unit, you're still with us, right? Do you have any updates that you need to provide? I just want to make sure that you don't go unnoticed. Okay, what elected officials are represented this evening? We have 2 offices, 3 offices from our elected officials, 4 offices from our elected officials. Okay, we have a presentation now, and if I can kindly ask that you guide us through this presentation efficiently so that we can take advantage of the time and then go into the presentation from our elected officials' offices, and that should conclude our meeting this evening. Thank you so much.
You would have to wing it. It's been very difficult. I mean, I can go to the next slide. I guess. Can you read it from there? Or, see, the problem is it's an issue. Can look at slide. Well, what do you think?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, no, thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Freddie Perez, Chairman of Land Use, Economic Development, and Housing Committee here at CD1. Today, we are going to dispose of the public hearing part of the ULURP process for 351 Powers Avenue in the Bronx for an application that was submitted in February. HPD is here to present. Are you ready, sir? Yes. Thank you. You have the floor.
I also believe that this presentation is in one of the pamphlets that we have.
I'm sorry, this is a voting item. So that all members, please do not leave. This is a voting item.
Well, yeah, let's set up. Hi, everyone. My name is Alan Beckerman. I'm a senior borough planner on the Bronx Planning Team at HPD. And we're really excited today to present townhouse apartments or 351 Powers Avenue, which is a 100% affordable housing development coming to your community. We're really excited that this is actually the first ULURP in the city, and I'll explain that process in a minute. But so I'm just going to go, we presented to the Housing Committee, and so I'll just give a brief overview of the project, and then we'll go into talk about some of the items and the questions that you had last time. So the next slide. Okay, so 351 Powers Avenue is today used as parking for staff from PS 65. This process started all the way back in September 2021, where we did an intensive community engagement process. There was questionnaires, there was workshops. Unfortunately, at the time, a lot of it was delayed because of COVID, but we're excited that it's now moving forward. And we took those recommendations and we put them in the community visioning report that was attached to the request for proposals for the city-owned site. And then development teams had to talk to the types of things that you wanted to see on the site. So we issued the RFP back in 2022. The team was selected in 2024, and we're now starting ELURP. As I mentioned, ELURP is new, so this is the expedited land use review procedures, different than ULURP. And this is a new tool that was voted on in the last election on some of the ballot measures. And so what ELURP involves is that this project will be reviewed by the community board and the borough president for 60 days, and then it will go to the city council for 30 days. And the main difference between this and ULURP is that it's kind of cut out the city planning commission from that timeline. But the same amount of time in ULURP that it takes that you have to review these applications is still in ELURP. And this was for affordable housing projects that had simple actions. So this was disposition of city-owned land. Again, 351 Powers is between 143rd and 141st Street, and I have a block away from St. Mary's Park. Next slide. Oh wait, yeah. So the project is an 8-story mixed-use building containing 84 units of affordable housing, between 30 to 80% of AMI. There's a range of studios, 1s, 2s, and 3 bedrooms. We're excited that there's 2 community facility spaces, one a community theater and another workforce development training center. There will also be replacement parking for the DOE staff. And this is also part of the Climate Resilient Design Guidelines pilot program. So this building will have to be built with resilient design, sustainability, and will be built to Passive House standards. All right, so now the next 2 slides are going to get into kind of addressing some of the questions that the Housing Committee had when we presented a little bit ago. So 71% of all units in this building are extremely low and very low incomes. So that's 50% AMI and below. And we often hear that there's a need for family-sized units. So 50% of the units are family-sized, so that's 2 and 3 bedrooms. And again, the breakdown is 24 studios, 18 1-bedrooms, 31 2-bedrooms, 11 3-bedrooms, and 30 of those units will be set aside for formerly homeless. Next slide. Oh. Okay. Another question we got was to provide some example rents and kind of the income ranges. And while this is like a very big range, I want to emphasize that a good majority of the units are on the lower end, so that's 60% AMI and below. And a lot of the 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom are actually at the 40% AMI range. So,
So to give an example, if you're a family of four making $64,800 a year, you can apply to have a two-bedroom at around $1,300. So that's just an example of some of the rents and the income ranges in this building. Next slide. All the units have to meet HPD's design guidelines for size and stuff like that. So the average unit sizes is a studio will be 422 square feet, one bedroom is 551 square feet, a two bedroom 758 square feet, and three bedrooms 1,030 square feet. So those are the averages for the unit sizes. I'm going to call up now the development team to talk more about community benefits, local hiring, and also the construction plan, things like that.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ani Belka Cordova, and I'm a principal with Lemley and Wolf. We're one of the development partners that was awarded the site. We're representing our development partners. And I'm joined here with Rosanna Vieira, who's leading the project from the Lemley side. You want to talk? So we're going to first talk a little bit about the community facility spaces, and then we'll get into local hiring and other benefits.
Hello. So we have two community facility operators that were selected with us when we were awarded the RFP. The whole program, they run a workforce training program, and they'll be operating one of the spaces out of the building. And the other is IP Studio, the immigrant arts organization in the South Bronx, and they want to expand into another space. So I think we have a slide where we show the theater, and the idea there is that they will be partnering with some of our local institutions and organizations to provide programming, arts programming. Another key benefit that we want to highlight and that we are very committed to delivering again on this project is making sure that there is significant local hiring participation from the neighborhood by partnering with local groups like the HOPE program, Job Work, and other local partners to ensure that we offer and make sure we can make connections with and offer training opportunities to local residents who want to have access to hiring opportunities within the development. So we will be focused on developing a plan with these local partners. The same commitment is there to ensure that we have local MWBE participation. I think our partner, Tania Abreu from the New York Women's Chamber mentioned earlier that they have a really strong program working with local communities and local partners to ensure that there's sufficient local MWBE participation from the businesses that are represented in this community, and hopefully have them participate and work within the development as the development is being built, either through the construction phase or once it's operational, you know, by participating in the operations of the building, and those other opportunities, as I mentioned. So we're very proud to be able to partner with these great groups.
Now maybe the development team can talk about kind of their plans when they build the building, keep the community safe.
Okay. So Lemley and Wolf will also be the construction company responsible for building the building. So we are a fully integrated firm, meaning that we in-house, we have our construction team, our development team, as well as property management. So during the construction phase, safety is a number one
is a number one goal and is something that we strive for constantly. And the way that we do that is by making sure that our internal team that is working on the site is trained at every level in terms of safety standards and making sure that they have all the certifications that they need to be able to operate our construction sites. So not only is our team fully trained, but we also have supervisors and senior team members who have site safety certifications in-house, where they are monitoring the construction regularly. Also, I want to point out that a building of this size is under a new law that was issued by DOB. It is now a site safety site, which means that the general contractor is required to have a site safety supervisor on site at all times. So that is something that our construction team will have on site, a certified site safety supervisor to ensure that the building is meeting, or that the construction team and all the subcontractors are meeting all the requirements with regards to safety, to noise management, right? To also dust mitigation standards to make sure that the community is not experiencing excessive dust and issues during construction. So that is something that, again, we have been working on and building capacity on, and we're ready to do it again here.
Next slide. I know we've gone a little long, but this is just an example of the first floor plan. You can see the access to the street and the two community facility spaces and the parking for the DOE staff. Next slide. And here is just example of what the studio theater is going to look like. And I know that lighting was a concern for this community board. I think what I really like about this development is both of the community facilities were have big windows and emphasize for light on the street, and also when we were picking the developments, we took into lighting plans in helping to decide on this, and there was an extensive lighting plan for the street so it's not dark at night. And here's a rendering of the building. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you. So let me begin with this application was submitted by the Department of Housing, Preservation and Development pursuant to section 1970 of the New City Charter for the disposition of city-owned property located at 351 Powers Avenue, specifically block 2571, lot 1, to facilitate an affordable housing project in the borough of the Bronx. At this time, pursuant to the city charter and HPD and ULUP guidelines, the board will now open the floor for the community for its public session. I ask Ms. Ortiz that you hand the mic. If everyone wants to stand on this side who has a question, limit your questions to one question. You don't have to raise your hand. Stand up. Direct your questions to HPD or to the developers. Limit your questions just to one so that we can have ample time for others to do so. This is for the community only, not for board members. After that, we will then take a vote.
Okay, I would like everyone to take a look at this. Those tiny little homes are part of my homeowners association. I've received no notification that this big building was being built. Okay, I know there was a community survey. I did not say anything for this, but there were senior citizens. I don't know who lives in the homes now. Is there anyone here who lives in any of those homes? No. Okay, because they are unaware. Now, there were senior citizens, Puerto Ricans, that were living in those homes when they were first bought. Now, all complexes since the time we were built, I don't know when it started in the city, have joint sewer lines. Now, a building that size right next to those tiny buildings, I don't know how that's going to affect the sewers. And you see, it's level ground. It's not on a hill. So that many people are going to produce a lot of human waste. The other issue that happens in the neighborhood are pets. Are pets allowed in this neighborhood? Yes. So where are you going to provide for them to relieve themselves? Because the homeowners have a problem that people come out and they don't pick up after their animals. And then with that many people, you can be sure where they're going, they're gonna go into those little homes, and you're gonna put a lot of stress under senior citizens. Now, there has not been proper notification. I pay, and all the homeowners pay for our sewer fund. So you can't just talk to a couple people and make a deal, okay? I don't think our homeowner association was notified. I urge the committee to vote, no, the building's too big.
They may respond.
Thank you
Can
so
we
much.
clarify, ma'am, can you state your name and last name for the record? And also, if you could clarify specifically where you live.
Okay, my name is Leslie Liga. I live 2 blocks from here. I live on Cypress Avenue between East 139th Street and 140th. This small group of homes, these are one families, I have a 2-family, but we are all part of the Nehemiah 2 Homeowners Association. The board member lives next door to me. I don't know what she's doing, but there was no notification because I can't believe that anyone would approve such a monstrous building next to senior citizens. Look at the size. It's not even a small, if it were shorter, maybe there's a possibility.
Thank you so much. Thank you for voicing your concerns. Thank you.
I'd just like to say that, we come here for ELER or ULER, but I want to emphasize that this is not the last time you see us in this process. So, we started the community engagement process back in 2021. I think we've maybe presented iterations of this project 2-3 times since then. But even after this ELER process is over, the development team will be coming back to give updates about when construction will start and things like that. And these are all opportunities to voice any concerns, construction, and even after, as Annabelle mentioned, they're also going to be the managers of the building. So they're not just going to build it and leave. If you have issues with the eventually built building, you can always contact them as the management team, and I know we'll always be responsive.
I also want to clarify that this development is being built with the current zoning as it exists. We are not requesting or building the building higher than the current zoning. It is exactly as it was zoned previously. So the lot is, we are maximizing the floor area of the building based on the lot how the lot was originally zoned. So this proposal is just to dispose of the land, to transfer the land over. So we are not requesting an increase in zoning here. And so there are other parts of Mott Haven, if you look at the density of Mott Haven, that have a similar profile where you have 2-family townhomes next to larger buildings. So it's not like it doesn't exist in the general community board. And so our responsibility is to build this development and make sure that it has all the infrastructure needed to support, and we're going through that process, all the different approvals that are required by DEP for sewer connections, water retention. Another key point that I want to highlight here, that because this building is part of the climate resiliency pilot program that Adam mentioned, we are being held to higher standards when it comes to building materials, when it comes to water retention, energy efficiency. So we're really trying to, acknowledge the fact that even though the construction burden will be there, the end product will be at higher standards than what has been done with older buildings. And that will benefit this environmental sort of conscious approach to this development, will benefit community members, and will benefit the future residents of the building as well.
Thank you. I just want to clarify something for the members of the board. This is by law, we have to let the public session go first. I will afford everyone on the board after we comply with the public session to ask any questions. But at this time, this is the portion of the public session and public session only. Is there anyone else?
I represent Councilmember Encarnacion, and one of my concerns is that we have a school that's gonna listen to all that noise, and how would they be able to continue their schoolwork during the day? Another thing is, once you unearth all the dirt, all those rats are gonna wanna go somewhere. And as Ms. Lega said, they're all homeowners. Two sides have homes. There's a building in the corner as well. So my question is, are you going to talk to the homeowners to compensate them for any things that they might have to occur because of the rats or because of the ground shaking, things like that? That's one of the concerns, because when they were building the process of building the jail, we had a lot of concerns with that as well, and a lot of complaints to the office about the noise, the lights, and the rats. Thank you.
Thank you. So the biggest way that we will tackle this is by communicating. So in terms of the outreach process and the timing of that, this is exactly the point where, because the building design is at a level that is being approved and being brought to all of you, the next part, once it is approved, we can then speak to the different community members and the different stakeholders and say, this is what we're actually building. Without having this approval from all of you, we can't have those conversations. There will be a lot of unanswered questions. So part of our outreach through this ELER process will be speaking to these community stakeholders, meeting with the local school, meeting with the HOA representatives, and talking about some of these measures that we use during construction to mitigate some of these issues that pop up. And, again, we're experienced, we've done this before. We built a building on 146 and Willis Avenue, a 15-story building. To my knowledge, no issues with regards to those specific concerns. We managed the noise level. We gave notice when the noise had to be a little bit higher so that we knew to keep it between a certain time. So all of that communication and coordination has to happen, and we're experienced doing this work, and we will get it done with your partnership and your support. We want to come and meet with you and speak to you once this process gets a little bit more, evolves a little bit more, and we're confident that this building will be built as we are planning right now.
Thank you. At this time, any other questions before I close the floor? If you already asked a question, you have to wait for them. Questions only.
How many parking lots do you intend to put there? Number one. How many parking lots do you intend to provide for your residents?
There's 30 parking spaces.
Good?
30 parking spaces.
Oh, also, there's talk going around the country that a jail could be put in the neighborhood with the 3 blocks. How do you register feel about having a jail in that close area?
What's the question?
Well, the jail.
I don't believe he asked a question. I think he made a statement. What was the question again? Why would they put a building, I think, next to a jail?
How do you residents feel about the potential of a jail being built with the 3 blocks? Or where they gonna live at?
Well, I'm not building the jail. I'm not going to comment on building the jail, but we're building, this affordable housing development here. Yeah.
How they gonna feel about it?
I'm not related to the jail.
Thank you. At this time, the public session of this portion of the process is now closed. I will ask that each board member, if they have a question, in the interest of time, we have to take a vote, and I don't want to lose quorum, so please, no one leave. Mr. Jesus, you have a question?
The Board of Education parking lot that you're gonna be allocating for us teachers that work in Pier 65, is that gonna be from school hours, that's it? The parking spaces when you guys find open and build and the space is gonna be available to the teachers.
Yes.
That work there. Is that gonna be just during school hours? Or is that after the teachers leave? Is that gonna be available to the tenants in the building, the parking spaces?
You can ask out loud.
So, part of the DOE allowing us to use this was that we were gonna build back the parking that they currently have there.
Right.
We're, currently it's just a vision for the teachers. We're open to further conversations with DOE, but it's intended for the teachers.
All right, very good.
Thank you, Mr. Ambrose.
Yes, just a quick question, thank you. The walls start excavating, the right in the neighborhood, are you gonna be responsible for it? Because this is one problem relating through, when they're coming with a new building in the area, the whole neighborhood is just inundated with the right. So are you guys gonna be able to have a pesticide or whatever name to cover that? That's one question. My second question is there any, will it be any verifiable track record that can tell us that people in the community zip code have access to have a priority to the area? Because we seem to be having a lot of deconstruction, but we in the neighborhood, we are not benefiting anything out of it. And we don't seem to, there's a lot of promises that come in here, making to us that we'll do this, we'll do that, we disappear, and then the building goes up, we stand here like we are strangers. So we need to see if there will be a way for us to verify those preferences to the
CV1.
Yeah. I can move to the preferences. So there is a 20% community board preference. However, I'd like to say that doesn't mean that not more than 20% of people in the community will get into the building. It's just that 20% of the units are set aside. So if part of the marketing, getting the word out about is that we want as many people in Community Board 1 to apply when it gets up on Housing Connect, so that as many people from the community can be in the building as possible. But right now, the mandate is 20% community board preference.
But last time they said 20%, excuse me, they said 20%, then turn around and said 10 out of 20 did not qualify. Therefore, they go back to the market value. And this is where our problem is. We do not qualify because we don't have the income. We don't have a sufficient income. There is nothing there for us being qualified. Otherwise, we have to be born qualified.
Okay,
So we're not
the answer to that question is we have to change the HPD formula. That's the answer. Okay, but I have to move on. I'm sorry.
Just wanted to be
Chairwoman, Ms. Burns, do you have any questions?
No.
Madam Chairwoman, do you have any questions?
Yes, a question.
Hold on, we're on the round and we're gonna get to it. Mr. Deloney, go ahead.
So, is there opportunities, just to build up. Come on, yeah.
Question is directed to.
Communities here.
Go to your question, Cesar. No. No, ask your question. Okay, so one, I just want to say, in order to apply, is there a preparation HPD offers people to make sure when they apply their application is sufficient? Yes, so they say yes. We have, that is correct.
I couldn't even hear what the question or what was the learning question, and I think it was important.
Right.
The learning, I'm sorry, can you repeat your question?
Give her an opportunity, we're gonna get to.
Okay, the question was, does HPD have the system to help people prepare for application? So in order for your application not to be denied, and HPD answered yes, they have an opportunity for you to prep your application, so when you submit it to the portal, it will not be denied or kicked back.
I'm going to be very clear with this. My name is Ms. Whitman, and I've been on this for some time, and I was involved, still involved in that new Racket County. That construction, are you going to be using dynamite on that site? No. Okay. It is very important that you connect with the homeowners on their sites. I'm involved in the site at Racket County. We had the homeowner lose their site due to construction. on that site, and I was out there monitoring that site on a weekly basis. You must meet with those homeowners, and you must be available to talk to them about the construction of their homes. It's vitally important, Madam Chair, it's vitally important that the homeowners are involved in this process. Their homes will be shaken. That foundation will be shaken. So I'm saying, so that they don't come back to us later and say we didn't do our part. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you so much, Cesar, we're gonna ask you guys a question. You have one question. One question.
Okay, yeah, I know, I understand. One question, so, this one, I had like 10 of them, but I'll leave it for your one. So one of them is, has to do with, Studio 899, and then it says for homeless people, and it has 45,000. And you just came out of homeless, and then what support do you have for them to stay in that income bracket so they don't lose their home space?
Thank you, Cesar.
Okay, we have, we're gonna ask you to please answer. For the members, if we can ask you to please stay so that we can take the vote, I will really appreciate it. And I understand that we are past time and we want to go, but let's just push through these few minutes.
Yep, thank you. At this time, we have concluded CD1's public hearing part of the ELR process. I will ask the members of the board, a member of the board, to please make a motion to accept the presentation made by HPD and the presenters, and I will turn the mic over to the district manager so that he can record and explain how the members may vote.
So, so this is Adam, something you want to say? Oh, very briefly. Yes.
If everyone can sit down before the district manager explains the vote. I mean, there were some concerns that we were able to hear loud and clear with regards to how this is going to affect the homeowners in the area. What I would like to tell HPD and the developers of this site, the community board is open and willing to help facilitate some of those conversations. And we really want to make sure that those happen. There's people who receive notifications, others did not. So, you know, we can work with you on that.
Thank you, Chair. Okay, so Anthony Jordan, District Manager to the board. So when you're called after the motion is made, when you're called, you can vote yes, you can vote no, you can vote yes with stipulations, or you can vote no with stipulations. Again, yes, no, yes with stipulations, no with stipulations. And then the outcome of this vote will go to the Borough President's office for office review.
No.
You can say whatever, no with stipulations. You can say, I think we should have, there's 100 apartments. I think this project should have 2 apartments. You can say yes with stipulations, whatever your stipulations in your mind, what you heard from the presentation today, whatever your stipulations are, that's how you vote. Yes, no, no with stipulations, yes with stipulations. Or you can abstain.
Thank you. I need a motion from the floor to.
Okay, let's try to make this motion right. I, Jordan, make a motion to accept, the application, I, Jordan, make a motion to accept the application by HPC pursuant to section 197E for the property located in 351 Powers Avenue to facilitate an affordable housing project in the borough of Bronx.
Do I hear a second?
Second by Brenda Goodman.
Seconded by Deborah Gould. Discussion on the motion. Being no discussion on the motion,
the clerk will call the roll.
Freddie Perez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Paola Martinez, how do you vote?
Yes, with the stipulation that the developers work with Community Board 1 to engage the residents and with the Chambers of Commerce to engage in the building.
Evelyn Alvarez, how do you vote?
Stipulation being that
Speaking out, let's make it to the big picture.
For the record.
Get it on the record.
Thank you. I, Evelyn Alvarez, vote no, stipulation that there is a clear path for how to support residents to stay housed.
Deborah Ramirez, how do you vote?
I also vote no.
They have to have a clear path for that. My vote is no, basically with the stipulations that they have to have a clear path for the residents to be able to be sustainable.
Gandhi Ambrose, how do you vote?
I would say yes with the stipulation that the next.
Use the mic, please.
I say yes with the stipulation that they make sure all the right in the neighborhood they take care of it, because this is really a problem.
Cecil Brooks Jr., how do you vote?
No, with the stipulation that there must be a clear path to work with residents and community members, community board.
Audrey De Jesus, how do you vote?
Yes, with stipulation as to what Paloma said. Paola said.
Jacqueline De Jesus, how do you vote? Edwin Diaz, how do you vote?
Yes, with the stipulation that they work with us, Community Board One, and also owners in the neighborhood on that block. They have to work together.
Josephine Fernandez Burke, how do you vote?
No, with the stipulations to a pathway to have residents maintain their apartment.
Brenda Goodman, how do you vote?
I vote yes, for with the stipulations, no.
Andres Madrigal, how do you vote?
I abstain. I still have too many questions to make an informed decision.
Delaney, how do you vote?
I vote yes with the stipulation that all neighboring property owners are notified.
Argelia Ortiz, how do you vote?
I vote yes with the stipulations that priority be given to the homeowners and full concern be given to the way the land will be affected by the construction.
Emmanuel Pardilla, how do you vote?
I vote no with the stipulation that priority is given to the local community, the homeowners, in weighing in on the project, and that AMI threshold lowers to at least 30% for most units made available. I see that about 29 of the units are for 40% AMI. I think that's a problem. I need to go further down below 40% for that amount of units. And also, about 30 units for formerly homeless people. The South Bronx is already a haven for a lot of homelessness and formerly homeless people with supportive housing. And so I want to engage in more discussion around that. But right now, my vote is no.
Marilyn Pena, how do you vote?
Yes, with the stipulation of the fellow board members.
Amanda Perez, how do you vote?
I vote no with the stipulation that there's an increase of units for low income, particularly the lowest of income, and potential for a partnership for wraparound services and not just community organizations.
Rosa Pinero, how do you vote?
I vote yes with the stipulation that the homeowners be notified.
Patricia Simpson, how do you vote?
No.
Cesar, how do you vote? I vote no
with the stipulation that either good is supposed to have more family apartments for homeless people. And the second one is to lower the AMI to at least 30% of his units, because 40 is the lowest one. If that's not anything, he is not affordable for us.
That concludes the vote.
That concludes the vote.
Mr. Secretary, please announce the results of the vote, please.
11 yeas, 8 nays, 1 abstention.
Ladies and gentlemen, the portion of the vote has taken place. The letter of support will be given from the board as per the vote taken by Community Board 1.
And that's done.
Okay, before everyone leaves, okay, we have a strong message from our community with many individuals that voted no, and I think that merits an important conversation. And again, the community board is happy to host and work with HPD and with the stakeholders involved to facilitate this conversation. There is a community organization that is involved, which is ID Theater, which we would love to see coming as well so that the community can have a better understanding of what their programs are. I think they do amazing work, and I'm happy to see that they will have a space. But there are so many questions, and we hope that we can negotiate those. So thank you so much. We have elected officials. If we can keep it brief, I understand everybody has to leave. Just the most important announcements, and then we are out of here. I want to thank each one of the members for showing up tonight so that we could conduct our business. In the next meeting, we will be announcing soon where the location will be for March 26th. And you have your calendars. There's calendars available in the back as well. So may I call?
We have elected officials here, Madam Chair. Representing the Office of New York City Controller.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Good evening, everybody. My name is Yves Filius. I am the Bronx Borough Director for Controller Mark Levine. I just wanted to introduce myself. I just started this role not too long ago. I'm Bronx born and bred. I would like to give you my email if you'd like. It's Y, my first initial, my last name Filius, Filius, at controller.nyc.gov. Anything for the news, we have a summer internship program that we're looking for college students and graduate students. So it does not mean you have to be college age, but if you are in college currently, the deadline for that is March 9th. And you can go on the website controller.nyc.gov to apply or spread that information to any young folks within our borough. We definitely would like some young minds to be in this office. And if you're not aware, the controller is the fiscal officer over $200 billion. The budget, just put out the budget report last month stating that there's $12 billion in deficit that the city is doing. The controller oversees the 5 pension programs like NYPD, NYSERS, 2 for short. So like that is information that I'll give you currently, and then I'll be seeing you. I cover all 12 community boards and also 3rd Avenue bid. So thank you, and good evening.
Representing the Office of District Attorney, Garcelle Park, District Attorney.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for that. Hi, my name is Jumana Escalera, and I am a community engagement coordinator for the DA's office. We recently had a rescheduled, this was the second time, well, the first time that we rescheduled our reentry fair, and then we had another snowstorm. So the first time we had a snowstorm, second time we had a snowstorm. We're working on a 3rd date because I know a lot of people were interested in looking for resources. They heard about the DMV being present at the reentry fair, so a lot of people were asking us when we're going to do another one. But we're working on the next date. Hopefully it'll be in the springtime, so at most we'll get a rainstorm and not actual snow. Outside of that, we have a youth summit coming up that's going to be labeled Presence as Power. That's the theme. It's going to be Wednesday, March 25th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and it's going to be at Co-op City Community Center. If you guys are interested in the RSVP link for the actual event, I didn't bring any flyers, but I'm going to do one better. You know, we're in the age of the cell phone, so if you guys have your phones out and you're interested in the event, please take my cell phone number, my work cell phone number, to be clear. It's 917-581 3149. And I will send you guys the RSVP link for the youth summit. We'll be giving away laptops, iPads, there will be food and a conversation around civic engagement as well as public safety. A lot of Black and brown people in the community do not have the information that they need on, prosecution in the process. So if you guys know any youth that may be interested, please share the information. Lastly, I did want to mention, we're having court tours and we're doing workshops. The workshops are the same, it's gun violence as well as arrest to disposition. So once again, teaching people about their rights. So if you guys are interested, please text that same number, or you can email community engagement at the DA's office at C as in cat, E as in elephant, U as in umbrella, at Bronx, Bronx is spelled out, da.nyc.gov. Thank you, and happy Black History Month, even though there's 3 days left.
Representing U.S. Congress member Acacia Cortez.
Hello, thank you for staying so late. I'll make this quick. My name is Jeff. Earlier this month, we had a town hall. If you want to catch it, you can find it on Congressman's socials. Real quick, we're leading on 2 bills in the House. One is the Defiance Act, which allows victims of sexually explicit AI-generated deepfakes a right to sue their abusers. And the other is the Child Care for Every Community Act, where about half of the families would be paying no more than $10 a day for child care. If you want more information on those, please reach out to our office. Also, the Department of State announced indefinite suspension of immigrant visas for 75 countries. So if that affects you, please reach out to our office. I kind of just cut through this because of the time, so if you have any questions, I'm going to leave my business card here. Please reach out if you have questions, concerns, or you just want to know more about what's going on with the federal government. Thank you.
Representing New York City Council member Justin Sanchez.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Hi, everybody. I'm Anthony Orlando, representing Councilmember Justin Sanchez. Very quickly, just a few announcements. We do have a temporary district office now. We're very excited about that. Former Councilmember Salamanca's office is no longer. You can find us at 416 Walton Avenue on 146th Street, kind of between Hostos and the C-Town. You can give us a call. You can reach out to email, district17@council.nyc.gov. Just a quick point, Councilmember Sanchez is co-chair of the Bronx Delegation, along with Councilwoman Amanda Farias, so they'll be hopefully bringing in the bacon from the Bronx. And he's also chaired the Sanitation Committee, and I can tell you what, he's been raking DSNR when he calls a bit about the snow cleanup. So great improvement since the last time, since the last snowstorm, and we're going to see continued improvement, including at a hearing tomorrow afternoon at my City Hall. Thanks.
New York State Senator Jose M. Serrano.
Good evening. I will be brief. As you know, we are currently in the middle of putting together the Senate one house, which is the Senate response to the government, to the governor's budget. Nothing is set in stone, and the one house will not be out until March. But here are some priorities of the senator: increased funding for NYCHA, increased funding for public protection in common areas to protect residents in parks, subway stations, etc. Increased funding for housing access voucher programs, increased school aid, increased funding for our healthcare sector, including family health centers. Senator Serrano is happy to support specific initiatives by funding the Hunts Point Private Market and Hunts Point Meat Market, as well as the Bronx River Alliance for their need for funding for climate and environmental justice projects. We are holding 15 hours tomorrow, not too far from here, at St. Mary's Cornerstone Community Center at 595 Trinity Avenue in the Bronx, between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We don't have anything.
Next is committee reports. They are in your package, so please read them. Any old business? None. New business? None. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn today's meeting.
I second.
All in favor? Adjourn.
That should be your packet.